In this video, we're going to use tree diagrams to represent successive dependent events. If you're revising, pause the video and have a go at question 1, and then there's also a question 2. Okay, this question looks familiar from the last time. Just quickly going to draw the tree diagram. It's in a bag, there are 8 beads, 4 red, 3 blue, 1 green, and 2 beads are chosen at random. So, there's, like the last question, you've got a first pick, you've got a second pick. Well, that's not what the question said, actually. It said you pick 2, but it actually equates to picking 1 and then picking another one. Once you see the first one, automatically the probability of the second one changes, and that is a bit confusing, or you might resist accepting that. I'll keep on at that, but that's effectively what happens. So on the first pick, that should be straightforward enough. We've got, you can get a red, you can get a blue, or you can get a green. 4/8, 3/8, and 1/8. Because there's 4 red out of 8, 3 blue out of 8, and 1 green out of 8. Now on the second pick, if you pick 2 and look at the first one, don't look at the second one, just pick 2, but look at the first one, and it's red. Then as soon as you see it's red, you know the chances of getting red on the next go would be 3 only out of 7. 3 because you know you've chosen a red, and 7 because you've got that 1 red in your hand, so there's only 7 left that remaining. So picking 2 is actually the same as picking 1, looking at it, and then you're effectively picking the other one. And the probability of the second one changes as soon as you see that first one, even though it's already been chosen. So if you choose red, you can still get red, blue, or green. If you choose blue, you could still get red, blue, or green. And if you choose green, on the second go, you can still get red, blue, or green. A bit messier, so now getting the fractions on is going to be trickier. Let's go through this again for different scenario. Let's say we get red and blue. If you pick out 2 and look at the first one and it's red, then you know there's only going to be 7 left. Definitely only 7 left. Chance that it's blue is going to be 3 because you didn't pick out any blue, so there's still 3 left. Chance that it's green is 1 because you didn't pick a green out in the first go. Okay, let's say you pick out 2, look at the first one and it's blue. Then you know there's only 7 left, so the chances will be out of 7. Chances it's red is 4 because the first one you picked wasn't red. Chances it's blue is now 2. It was 3, but it's now 2 because the first one you picked was blue. Chances that it was green is 1 out of 7 because there's still that 1 green one left and it hasn't been chosen. Okay, let's say you choose green then. What's the chances the next one's red? Well, you know there's only 7 left, so it'll be out of 7. There are 4 red left, so 4 out of 7. There are 3 blue left, so 3 out of 7. But there's no green, so you'd write 0 out of 7. But you wouldn't write that at all. You would just write 0. This time, for dependent events, you can see that this second pick is different every time. What happens here in these 3 scenarios depends really on what you did in the first, if you picked red, blue, or green, which is different if the events were independent. Independent events, this here would be the same as this, would be the same as this. So be very careful when reading the question to see is it a dependent or independent events. Do these probabilities change based on this one here? Okay, the next bit I'm going to go through a bit faster because that's the whole idea of dependent events. The next bit is just the same as independent events, the same sort of procedure. Part B is what's the probability of 2 blue. So probability of 2 blue, they're independent. We can multiply, they're dependent events, but we've worked out the probabilities, so we can multiply the probabilities together. Blue and blue is 3/8 and 2/7. 3/8 times 2/7 That is 6 out of 56, or 3 out of 28. Part B. Part C. What is the probability of choosing no green beads? Two ways to do this. If you think about getting two or no green beads, you could get a red and a red, or you could have got a red and a blue, or you could, on the first go, you could have got blue and then get a red, or you could get a blue and another blue. Now that's 4 probabilities to work out. It's a lot of effort, but sometimes brute force and just going through all the calculations is easier. Not easier, more reliable, I would say, to get the marks. There's a more clever way to get it, but a lot more easy to make mistakes with that when you try to be clever, to be honest. So this is simple, just to follow this technique. Red, red. The first go red is 4/8, and the second go red is 3/7. Red, blue. Red in the first go is 4/8, blue in the second go is 3/7. Blue, red. Blue is 3/8 on the first go, and red is 4/7 on the second go. Blue, blue. Blue is 3/8 on the first go, and it is 2/7 on the second go. You've got a nice common denominator there of 56, so that's why I wouldn't bother simplifying. And we get 6, 12, 12, 12. So that gives us 36, 42 out of 56. Divide that by 8 and we get 7. Sorry, divide that by 7 and we get 6 out of 8, which is 3 out of 4. So you could have divided through by 14, was it, instead. Okay, now, there's another way to do that question, and I'm just going to do it the side. It was no greens, probability of getting not green on the first go, and not green on the second go. Scroll on if you don't want to know this, by the way. What's the chances of not getting green in the first go? Well, there are 7 of those out of 8. I put a wee 1 and 2 there because these are different. I can't put 7/8 here for the chances of not getting green in the second go, because it's different on the second go than it is in the first go. Now, I'm not really using the tree diagram here, though I'm pointing at it. The chances of getting green on the second go, if you pick a red or a blue, if you don't pick green in the first go, the chance of getting green in the second go would be 1 out of 7, because there's 1 green left out of 7. So the chances of not getting green in the second go has to be 6 out of 7. And if you multiply those two together or simplify that, you get 6 out of 8, which is, keep making a mistake, divided by 2, 3/4. Okay, so I'm not really using the tree diagram there. I'm just thinking, what's the chances of not getting green in the first go? Well, there's 1 green out of 8, so not green is 7 out of 8. What's the chances of not getting green in the second go? That's really important that you haven't got green in the first go, because that actually influences this probability. But I know I haven't got green in the first go, so I've picked a red or blue. So I know there's only 1 green there out of 7, so the chances of not getting green is 6 out of 7. Okay, part D, what is the probability of choosing a red and a blue? Doesn't give me an order, that's important there. Doesn't say red and then a blue. So that's the probability of red, blue. Or I could get a blue and a red, because it doesn't say it has to be red and then blue. So red, blue is 4 out of 8 times 3 out of 7. Blue, red is 3 out of 8 times 4 out of 7. Okay, and we've got those before actually. So 12 out of 56 and 12 out of 56, which is 24 out of 56. I divide that through by 8 and get 3/7. Okay, question 2. The probability it rains tomorrow is 0.6. If it rains, the probability that Ben goes for a walk is 0.1. Otherwise, the probability Ben goes for a walk is 0.7. Part A, draw a tree diagram to show the possible outcomes. First step, what are the events? The events are that it rains or not. So, probability of rain or no rain. The second event is that Ben goes for a walk or not. So if it rains, he could walk. If it doesn't rain, if it does rain, he could walk. If it does rain, he might not walk. Sorry, I overcomplicated that. I was way ahead of myself. So he rains and he walks, he rains and he doesn't walk. Let's say it doesn't rain. He could still walk, or he might not walk. What's the chances that it rains? That's 0.6. So the chances that it doesn't rain is 0.4. If it rains, the probability that Ben goes for a walk is 0.1. So it's important that this is attached to rain. Raining is attached to going for a walk 0.1. That means the chances that he doesn't go for a walk if it rains is 0.9. Otherwise, so that means if it doesn't rain, the probability Ben goes for a walk is 0.7. That means the chance that it doesn't go for a walk is 0.3. These should always add up to 1 and then 1, but they're different based on if it rains or not. So another example of dependent events. And part B asks, what's the probability that Ben goes for a walk? Well, it could rain and he goes for a walk. That's one possibility, rain and walking. Or it might not rain and he goes for a walk. Sorry, my battery went low, it was not reading. Okay, so there's two ways that Ben could go for a walk. Maybe one he'd prefer would be when it doesn't rain. But it's the probability that it rains and he goes for a walk plus the probability that it doesn't rain and he goes for a walk. Follow the branches. That's 0.6 times 0.1. And the second one, 0.4 times 0.7. And that gives 0.06. And this one gives 0.28. So altogether we get 0.3.